Mr. David Arthur Granger was sworn in as Guyana's 8th executive president at approximately 2:19 on May 16 on the balcony of Parliament Building in front of a large jubilant crowd. The retired brigadier of the Guyana Defence Force was sworn in by Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Carl Singh, after the proclamation was read by Chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, Dr. Steve Surge-Bally.
I, David Arthur Granger, do hereby solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana, that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
President Granger, in his inauguration speech, called for the ending of past rivalries and the working together to banish the many ills of society, such as poverty, ignorance, fear, and hatred. 69-year-old Granger was the presidential candidate of the APNU+AFC, a coalition of 6 of Guyana's political parties: the People's National Congress Reform, the Working People's Alliance, National Front Alliance, the Guyana Action Party, Justice for All Party, and the Alliance for Change.
Guyanese, the elections are over. The people have chosen their representatives. The Constitution has been respected. Our democracy has been fortified. Let us now put past rivalries behind us and work in unity to banish poverty, ignorance, fear, and hatred. We assemble here today to witness the swearing in not of a party leader, but of the President of all the people. And I shall be a good president for all the people. We, the Guyanese people, have chosen to inaugurate a government of national unity and to promote multi-party, inclusionary democracy. We are convinced that this is the best way to overcome our historic divisions. We have witnessed the damage done to our beautiful country over the past 23 years. We have been mocked by the destruction of local democracy and the denial of local government elections. We have been treated with contempt by the dictatorial prorogation and dissolution of Parliament. We have had to bear the brunt of the high rate of crime, including armed robberies, arson, interpersonal violence, murder, piracy, rapes, road fatalities, and trafficking in persons. We've had to bear the cost of squandering of state resources on exorbitant but misconceived mega projects. We've suffered most from the high cost of living and the high level of employment, particularly among our youth. We have not been filled with hatred by these conditions.
Alliance for Change member Mr. Moses Nagamootoo has been sworn in as Prime Minister of Guyana with responsibilities for information and Chairman of the Cabinet. He is also the first Vice President and responsible for constitutional reform. He noted that he would pay special attention within his ministerial outfit to information and constitutional reform.
I, Moses Nagamootoo, do hereby solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana, and I will faithfully execute the office of Prime Minister and First Vice President without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the function of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. And I do so affirm.
The President also signaled the change from Office of the President to the Ministry of the Presidency, with Lieutenant Colonel retired Joseph Harmon as Minister of State. Joseph Harmon, sworn in as Minister of State, will take up duties as head of the Presidential Secretariat.
I, Joseph Frederick Harmon, do hereby solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana, that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister of State without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. And I do so swear, so help me God. Thank you.
After 23 years in the Guyana Defense Force and another 15 years as a lawyer in a private practice, Harmon became an active politician, eventually becoming a face in the 10th sitting of the National Assembly as the APNU Shadow Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure. Meanwhile, several other cabinet ministers were also sworn in, including Minister of Finance Winston Jordan, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams, Minister of Foreign Affairs Greenidge, Minister of Public Health Dr. George Norton, Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, Minister of Education, Dr. Rupert Roopnaraine, Minister within the Ministry of Education, Nicolette Odella Henry, Minister of Social Protection, Valda Lawrence, Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Simona Brooms, Minister of Public Infrastructure, David Patterson, Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Annette Ferguson, Minister of Communities, Ronald Bulkan, and Minister of Social Cohesion, Amna Ali.
I, Catherine Andrea Hughes, do hereby solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana,
that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister of Social Cohesion
Without fear or favor,
Affection or ill will.
that in the execution of the functions of that office,
I will honor,
uphold,
preserve
the Constitution
of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
And I so swear, so help me God.
The 9 other members of the APNU+AFC administration were also sworn in before President Granger, who urged them to give their full commitment to the people whom they were elected to serve. They include Vice President and Minister of National Security Kemraj Ramjatan, Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder, Minister of Business and Investment Dominic Gaskin, Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Allicock, Minister of Governance Raphael Trotman, Minister within the Ministry of Finance Jaipaul Sharma, Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure Keith Scott, Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous People Valerie Garrido-Lowe, and Minister of Citizenship Winston Felix.
I, Kemraj Ramjatan, do hereby solemnly swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana, that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister of Agriculture
without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
and that in the execution of the functions of that office,
I will honor, uphold, and preserve
the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
and I do so swear, so help me God.
Following the swearing-in, several of the ministers were asked about their portfolio and responded. While some were confident about what they would do, others indicated that they wanted to familiarize themselves first with what had happened before.
I am not holding a substantive line portfolio because my function as Prime Minister would place me as Chairman of the Cabinet, and I will have some kind of liaison supervisory role of the entire Cabinet to see that we bring together the legislative agenda. Then I'm leader of the House, of the government business in the House. So I will be fully occupied, but I will pay special attention within my ministerial outfit to information and constitutional reform. And those are two big areas because we had promised the Guyanese people that we will have constitutional reforms. So I pay special attention to that area.
We've got one big problem on our hands, that is the availability of medication, that is pharmaceuticals and medical supplies to our institution. We have got to have a level playing field where all the stakeholders, that is the suppliers of medication, should be given an equal opportunity of supplying drugs at the lowest possible cost and of the highest quality. The other situation is that we've got to get rid of this cabinet order that permits a particular company to supply drugs. The second thing we have to look at is training. Now, the thing about training is the reason why we have Africans, Indians, Koreans, you name it, Chinese, all of non-Guyanese working here in Guyana in those Cubans in those specialist areas, because we're not specializing our people. Okay, myself and colleagues who were from my batch, we've been specialists for over 3 decades, and we're still around. And I am certain that had we trained more specialists, giving them the necessary scholarships and so on, we would have had much more Guyanese in charge of different health sectors.
It's going to be a massive task. I mean, education is you've heard President Granger say that, to make Guyana an education nation, it's going to be a big challenge because, from nursery to university, everything needs fixing because everything is broken. We have to focus on the teachers, which is key. We have to ensure that we have highly motivated, energized teachers in the classrooms. This to me is a key. Without that, we'll go nowhere.
Yeah, the process would have been started with my predecessor, so there's some groundwork that has been done. When I go into office now, I will have to look and see to what extent that groundwork needs to be adjusted given the priorities of the new government. All right, and for example, you have different ministries, so that means there's a whole need of reconfiguration of duties, ministers, and costing of resources, right, both human and others. So that's a bit of work that needs to be done. Then we need to start consulting with various non-governmental groupings, the opposition, right, in terms of the discussions, okay, and we will take it from there.
Well, there's several things that I want to get started with. The first thing is a proper marketing plan and a marketing program for Guyana. I know from my personal experience that many people come to this lovely country, they have a great time, but too many people still don't know where we are. So in terms of marketing the destination, in terms of increasing airlift so we can get flights to Guyana at an affordable price, it still is kind of expensive. So for some sectors of the marketplace to come to Guyana. The other thing I want to look at that I feel strongly about is the hospitality training school. We have a great investment. The private sector's made, strong investments, but we certainly need to up our level of service. And it's not only in the hospitality industry, but I think generally in all the government offices. We want to be able to look after people well and to be able to look after other Guyanese and tourists to Guyana.
I have to fashion a program for the ministry, having held discussions with the ministry and the managers within the ministry, which I haven't done yet. But from a distance, I get the impression that we need to pay some special attention to the institution itself. The skills that are there, those that need to be developed, the institute that was established and seems to have fallen into abeyance, and also to ensure, in keeping with Mr. Granger's wishes, that a greater focus is placed on what is called economic diplomacy. We, of course, the ministry will remain and retain as a primary focus or primary priority the matter, of course, of the defense of Guyana's borders and the development of sustainable and warm relations with neighbors.
Basically, the Ministry of Finance is straightforward in terms of the work. It's all written there what you have to do, and basically we have to get to work because that ministry is the ministry that will oil the other ministries in terms that we will have to give them what they need, finance, money, to work, to operate. So that's the basic thing. We have to get to work, ensure that necessary is done so an hourly budget could be presented to the National Assembly.
First of all, I need to familiarize myself with the agricultural situation. The Ministry of Agriculture is a fairly complex one. It covers the Livestock Development Authority, Guyana Rice Development Board, the Pest and Control Act. It covers the Guyana School of Agriculture. It covers the Public Sector Development Unit, fisheries. So it's a fairly wide area that needs to be looked at. So first of all, one has to familiarize oneself with it, with the staff, of course, and also it interfaces with a lot of international agencies like the Food and Agricultural Organization, the Inter-American Institute of Cooperation in Agriculture, the SNAIL-2, and of course the OAS as well to some extent. So these are things that need to be looked at.
We cannot do anything unless we have the two shows in place, and that is the immediate focus, having national two shows elections, yes.
So when do we expect that? The next couple of months?
We're hoping that this could be able to happen in June next month, as was previously planned, because we should have had elections in March, but it never came off because the previous government put it over for June. So we are going to focus, we're going to meet and try to see if we could allow it to happen.
Indigenous land rights is priority. Then we have jobs for youths. Not only jobs, but training, first of all, for youths before they can get jobs. More access to that. I have been doing empowerment of women. I have been doing some of that for the past since I became a parliamentarian.
President Granger urges ministers to be committed to ensuring that all Guyanese have a good life. He further called on them to work towards ensuring Guyana becomes less divided and less a poor country. He added that their main aim should be to deliver on the promises of change that were made leading up to the May 11 general and regional elections.